Hello again, my fellow pilots and aircraft maintenance people. Your host is Haytham Aly, and I'm an aviation technical instructor. Today you will join me to recall Airbus A320 fire protection system. In this coming question, you will recall fire protection system. So let's join the quiz with me now. So let's join Haytham Aly. So let's start the question now. So first question, the Airbus A320 family fire protection system have for the engine and the APU fire detection system only, extinguish system only, all the mentioned above. For the engine and the APU, we have both detection system and extinguish system. Detection system and extinguish system. So the right answer is all the mentioned above. All the mentioned above. So in the A320, let's refresh our knowledge. We have for the engine and the APU detection system and extinguish system. Detection system depend on fire detection loops located in the sensitive area of the engine and the APU. And we have fire bottle for extinguishing. We have fire bottle. We have two fire bottle for the engine and one fire bottle for the APU. One fire bottle for the APU. The fire detection system and extinguish is controlled by a fire detection unit. We have a fire detection unit for the engine and one fire detection unit for the APU. Okay, let's proceed. Next question. For the engine, each loop is made up of 3 detector elements. This statement is true or false. Again, for the engines, each loop is made up of 3 detector elements. This statement is very true. Yes, this statement is true. Yes, for each engine, we have 3 detector elements. Detector element located on the fan, detector element located in the core, high pressure compressor and combustion chamber area, and detector element located in the pylon. So yes, we have 3 detector elements, and each detector element is comprising of 2 loops, loop A and loop B, and the fire detection will come if both loops make AND gate. Both loop confirms that there is a fire. Okay, so loops, loop A and B, tell the fire detection unit that there is a fire or overheat, and the fire detection unit tells the flight warning computer for indication in the cockpit. We have an indication for the engine. This fire push button will illuminate in red light, plus the continuous repetitive chime, master warning. On the upper ECAM we will have engine fire procedure, and on the lower ECAM we will have nacelle temperature, plus a fire indication under the master lever of the affected engine. This is for engine fire or nacelle fire. Okay. Let's proceed. Next question. When the fire push button is released out, what will happen? We'll have here a fire push button on the fire panel for each engine. This fire push button is used for indication and for solve the problem. If it is released out, it isolates many function for the engine to prevent any flammable fluid reach the engine and prevent any accumulation or propagation of the fire. So when the fire push button is released out, what will happen? Fuel supply and hydraulic supply are off only. Electrical power only off. Bleed supply are cut off, or all the mentioned above. For sure the answer is all the mentioned above. This fire push button releasing is a master isolation, cut, fuel supply, hydraulic supply, IDJ de-energize, and air conditioning and bleed supply are cut off. So also FADIC will become off if you release the fire push button. Okay, so let's proceed. Question number 4. The engine fire extinguishing bottles are located in the pylon, the engine nacelle, or wing front spar. For sure, the engine fire extinguishing bottles are located in the pylon. In the pylon. Yes, we have 2 fire bottles for each engine. They are located in the pylon. And this fire bottle having halon gas to be released in the sensitive area of the engine and solve the fire problem or overheat problem. Okay, let's proceed. The fire detection unit generates a fire warning signal when fire on loop A and fault on loop B, fire on loop A and fire on loop B, fault on loop A and fault on loop B within 5 seconds, both loops broken, all the mentioned above. The right answer is all the mentioned above. Yes, we have a fire detection unit for each engine, and the fire detection unit tells the flight warning computer about a fire situation. So the flight warning computer will do the indication for engine fire or nacelle fire. So what condition allows the fire detection unit to indicate a fire in the cockpit? As you can see here, both loops must confirm a fire and gate. Fire on loop A and fire on loop B. Or fire on loop A and fault on loop B. Or fault on loop A and fire on loop B. Or the fourth condition is fault on loop A and fault on loop B within 5 seconds, both loops broken due to a torching flame. This meant that a very heavy fire broke both loops within 5 seconds. So now the both loops are faulty. So in this case also we'll have a fire indication and the pilot must do the fire procedure. What indication will come in the cockpit? Fire push button will illuminate red. Master warning, CRC. Fire indication come up on the upper ECAM. And the nacelle temperature come up on the lower ECAM. And the fire indication will come underneath the master lever of the affected engine. Underneath the master lever of the affected engine. So almost 6 indications are there for an engine fire. This is an engine fire or nacelle fire or an external fire. External fire. Okay, let's proceed. Next question. The fire detection unit generates an inoperative signal. Fire loop fault when electrical failure, integrity failure, detection of a single loop fire during greater than 16 seconds while the other loop is normal, or all the mentioned above. The right answer is all the mentioned above. As you can see here, the fire detection unit generates an inoperative signal if any of the following conditions are met: electrical failure to the loop, integrity failure to the loop, or one loop detect a fire within 16 seconds while the other loop is in normal condition. So the right answer is all the mentioned above. All the mentioned above. Okay. Now you will have fire loop fault on the upper ECAM. Either loop A fault or loop B fault. This is a single loop fault. Okay. Let's proceed. Question 7 of 27. The detection fault logic is based on a single loop failure. Detection fault logic. You will have on the ECAM detection fault. Detection fault meant that both loops are faulty, not one loop. So as you can see here, detection fault warning, the detection fault logic is based on dual loop failure. So it's not a single loop failure, so this statement is false. This statement is false. Okay, perfect. Let's proceed. The low pressure and the high pressure fuel valve close and cause engine shutdown. Low pressure and high pressure fuel valve close and cause engine shutdown. This is an isolation procedure for an engine fire. So what close the low pressure and high pressure fuel valve? The master, when the master warning is pressed, when the master lever is set to off, or when the fire push button is released? The right answer is when the master lever is set to off. Master lever is set to off. Master lever close low pressure and high pressure fuel valve at the same time, cause immediate engine shutdown. Cause immediate engine shutdown. So what is the difference between master lever off and release the fire push button? Master lever off close both low pressure and high pressure fuel valve. But releasing the fire push button, it only close the low pressure fuel valve. The low pressure fuel valve, not the high pressure one. So yes, you can stop the engine by releasing the fire push button, but it will take several seconds, many seconds to stop until the fuel from the low pressure fuel valve until the engine stop, because the fire push button only close the low pressure fuel valve. Master lever close the low pressure and the high pressure fuel valve at the same time, causing an immediate engine shutdown. Causing an immediate engine shutdown. Okay, so as you can see here, these are the steps for engine fire. The first step is to press on the master warning to cancel the CRC and be focused on the engine fire. Number 2, master lever to off to cause engine immediate shutdown by closing the low pressure and high pressure fuel valve. Number 3, before master lever off, throttle lever of the affected engine to idle, to stop the ventilation, high ventilation of the nacelle, and allows the nacelle to be ready for the fire extinction agent to be effective. Number 3, master lever to off to close the low pressure and high pressure fuel valve. And number 4, releasing the fire push button to isolate hydraulic, fuel, pneumatic, FADIC, and IDJD energize, isolate electrical power. So remember, for engine fire, isolations and fire extinguish. All the steps we just mentioned is isolation, and then the last step for engine fire is to release the fire push button. Okay. When you press on the test push button before engine starts, you test on both detection and extinguish function. Okay, let's proceed for the remaining questions. I hope this questionnaire will allow you to refresh your knowledge regarding fire protection system. So let's proceed with Haytham Aly. Okay, so when the engine fire push button is released out, the master caution comes on due to systems deactivation. Yes. The fuel low pressure valve closure is confirmed. Yes. Releasing the fire push button will close the low pressure fuel valve. The squib light illuminate on agent push button switches to allow agent push button to be released. Yes, when you release the fire push button, squib light are coming on agent 1 and agent 2, so that the fire bottle are ready to be released. So the right answer is all the mentioned above. So this is master isolation push button. Isolate many function for the engine to prevent fire propagation or fire from spread into the engine. If you have an engine fire indication, don't delay the procedure. You need to do the procedure as fast as you can. So again, releasing the fire push button, you will have single chime sound because some systems are deactivated. Master caution comes on due to system deactivation, and the fuel low pressure fuel valve is confirmed, and the squib light illuminate on the agent push button switches to indicate that agent push button switches can be used now. We have 2 fire bottles for each engine. Yes. Let's proceed. Question 10 of 27. The fire bottle cartridges are explosive? Yes. Fire bottles are an explosive because they have the squib on the fire bottle to release the fire bottle. So the fire bottle cartridge are explosives, So this statement is very true. We have 2 fire bottles for each engine. Okay, let's proceed. The engine fire extinction system is supplied by electrical power from AC system or DC system? AC system or DC system? The engine fire extinction system is supplied by electrical power from the DC system. The DC system. As you can see here, DC hot bus, and DC bus 2. So the engine fire extinction system is supplied by electrical power from the DC system. This is engine and ABU fire panel. Engine and ABU fire panel. Okay. On the ground, an ABU fire will trigger an ABU automatic shutdown. Discharge the bottle automatically, all the mentioned above. So the right answer is all the mentioned above, because for the ABU, only for the ABU, there is one fire extinguisher bottle and it is discharged by a single agent push button on the fire panel. But when the aircraft is on ground, we have an auto extinguishing function. So this auto extinguishing function will do an automatic shutdown for the ABU and discharge the bottle automatically. So the right answer is all the mentioned above. This is only on ground. So the ABU as an engine is an unattended operation engine. You can operate the ABU and leave the cockpit and go out. So that if an ABU fire happen on ground, there must be a function that allows the ABU to be auto shut down and release its fire bottle immediately. And remember, for the ABU, we have single detector element. This detector element is consist of loop A and loop B, which give ABU fire indication to a fire detection unit. We have an ABU fire detection unit. Okay. Next question. The ABU fire test button is used to test the fire detection only, extinguishing system operation only, the fire detection and extinguish system operation. Yes, the right answer is the fire detection and extinguishing system operation. Before starting the ABU, you do the fire test by press and hold on the test push button. When you press and hold on this test push button, you test both extinguishing system operation and the detection system operation. So both systems are tested before ABU starting by press and hold on the test push button. This test push button tests both detection function and extinguish function to be ready and to be satisfied before starting the ABU. As if you start the ABU, the fire protection system are available. Fire protection system will be available. Okay. Next question. Question 14 of 27. In case of an ABU fire on the ground, ground personnel are alerted by, if you are a pilot or an aircraft maintenance personnel, and you start the ABU and there is nobody in the cockpit and you are on ground, how you will be alerted by an ABU fire on ground? You will be alerted by a warning horn in the nose wheel well? Yes. And you will have an ABU fire indicator light on the external power panel on the lower fuselage? Yes. So the answer is both the above. So on ground, if an ABU fire happens, ground personnel will be alerted by a horn coming from the nose wheel well, and also an ABU fire indication on the external power panel on the lower fuselage. And you can, by the way, shut down the ABU and start an ABU emergency shutdown from here. ABU shutdown is a guarded push button switch. If you press here, the ABU will immediately shut down for an emergency shutdown without cool down cycle. You know that if an APU normal shutdown happened and the APU was having an electric and air conditioning load, it takes almost 2 minutes before APU shutdown, which is called the cool down cycle. This cool down cycle is prevented in case of emergency shutdown or protective APU shutdown. Okay. So let's proceed. The APU fire light on the external power panel comes on and the external horn sound. In case of an APU fire detected on ground, yes. In case of an APU fire detected in flight only, no. In case of an APU fire detected on ground or in flight, false. So we'll have APU fire light on the external power panel comes on and the external horn sound in case of an APU fire detected on ground only. If the aircraft in flight, this indication will not come on because the auto extinguishing system will not operate in flight. So the pilot will need to do the fire procedure and the indication will come up in the cockpit for an APU fire indication, and the pilot must release the fire push button and discharge the fire bottle from the fire panel. The nose wheel well horn and the APU fire indication will only come if the aircraft is on ground. Okay, everybody. Let's proceed. Next question. Are you ready? Okay. Where are the engine fire detectors are located? Engine fire detectors. We have 3 detector elements for each engine. And each detector element is composed of loop A and loop B. So there are 3 detector elements on the pylon, the fan, and the core. Yes, this is the right answer. On the pylon, the fan, and the core. This is called the sensitive area of the engine. So how you can identify or why this specific location are there for detector elements? Because they are sensitive area of the engine. And how we can identify sensitive area? By an area having very high temperature in this area and a flammable fluid duct running in that area, so that if any leak happen from this flammable fluid duct, this flammable fluid may be auto-ignite. And this flammable fluid may be oil, fuel, or hydraulic. Okay, everybody. Let's proceed. Question 17 of 27. The engine fire detection unit processes signals received from the fire detection loops. We have, this is engine 2 fire detection unit, engine 1 fire detection unit, and APU fire detection unit. Yes, so the engine FDU or fire detection unit or APU fire detection unit receive signal from the fire detection loops. Loop A and loop B running in parallel, and both must confirm an engine fire. Okay. Let's proceed. The agent push button is active when? This agent 1 and agent 2 will have squib and ready to be discharged when the corresponding discharge light illuminates, engine fire push button illuminates, engine fire push button is released out. Yes, the right answer is engine fire push button is released out. When you release the fire push button, electric power is coming to the squib, so the squib will be illuminated on the agent push buttons. This meant that both push button will be ready to discharge the fire bottle. Okay, let's proceed. When the engine fire push button is released out, which corresponding fire valve are closed? Fuel crossfeed valve, low pressure fuel and hydraulic fire shutoff valves, high pressure fuel shutoff valve. The right answer is low pressure fuel and the hydraulic fire shutoff valve will close when you release the fire push button. Again, this fire push button will only close the low pressure fuel valve in the wing. it will not close the high pressure fuel valve on the engine. And also when you release the fire push button, the hydraulic fire valve will close to prevent hydraulic from reach the engine on fire. What else will happen? IDJ de-energized, yes. And engine bleed valve closed, and the backflow control valve closed, yes. And the hydraulic fire shutoff valve close. Okay, so releasing the fire push button will close only the low pressure fuel valve, and close also the hydraulic fire shutoff valves. Okay. Let's proceed. When the engine fire push button is released out, are the bleed and the back valves closed? Again, when the engine fire push button is released out, are the bleed and the back valve closed? Yes. When you release the engine fire push button, engine bleed valve close and backflow control valve close. So this statement is very true. This statement is very true. Again, when you release the fire push button, low pressure fuel shutoff valve close, engine fuel return valve close, engine bleed valve close, backflow control valve close, IDJ de-energize, hydraulic fire shutoff valve close. Okay. So this is a master isolation. Remember, for engine fire procedure, isolations and fire extinguish. The procedure for engine fire, isolations and fire extinguish. Okay, thank you very much. Okay. Let's proceed. Next question. When the engine fire push button is released out, what happened to the electrical generation? When the engine fire push button is released out, what happened to the electrical generation? IDJ de-energized, IDJ disconnected, IDJ energized. Yes, the right answer is IDJ de-energized. The IDJ will not disconnect. The IDJ will de-energized. Okay. Next question. Which warning lights are triggered in case of an avionics smoke is detected? Which warning lights are triggered in case of an avionics smoke is detected? Gen 1 smoke light only, blower fault light only, Gen 1 line smoke, and the blower and the extract fault lights are illuminated. Yes, the right answer is Gen 1 line smoke and the blower and the extract fault lights. If an avionics smoke happen, you will be indicated as a pilot or aircraft maintenance by an indication on two panels: emergency electric power panel and the ventilation panel. On the emergency electric power panel, you will have Gen 1 line smoke light illuminate. And on the ventilation panel, you will be alerted by a fault light on the blower and extract. And the procedure for avionics smoke is to put the blower and extract push button on override. Then if the fire smoke perceptible, you will do on the emergency electric power panel. So the procedure for avionics smoke is first ventilation, then electrical shedding, Okay. Let's proceed. Next question. How many smoke detectors are installed in the cargo compartment of the A320? For the A320, we have 2 smoke detectors in the forward cargo, 2 smoke detectors in the aft cargo, and 2 smoke detectors in the bulk cargo. So we'll have a total of 6 smoke detectors. 6 smoke detectors. Okay. For the A321, we have almost 10. Okay. 2 smoke detectors like loop A and loop B. And for the cargo compartment, we have smoke detection function integrated in the cabin intercommunication data system. This for the Airbus A320 enhanced aircraft. For the classic one, there was what it called the smoke detection control unit. Okay, let's proceed, everybody. When the test push button is pressed and held on the cargo fire panel, which conditions are simulated? When the test push button is pressed and held on the cargo fire panel, Which conditions are simulated? Smoke only, bottle pressure drop only, both of the above. The right answer is both of the above. When you press and hold on the test, you test for both detection system and extinguish system. Detection system and extinguish system. Okay. Question 25. Lavatory fire extinction is performed by lavatory fire. If a fire happens in the lavatory, how the cabin attendants may extinguish this fire? By portable extinguisher, fire bottles, or waste bin fire bottle? By a portable extinguishers. Portable extinguishers. Okay. But if a fire happens in the waste bin, there is an fire bottle in the waste bin will be auto extinguish to cut down the fire propagation in the waste bin. Okay. If a smoke is detected in a cargo compartment, what happened? If a smoke is detected in a cargo compartment, what happened? Smoke light comes on, plus continuous repetitive shine, plus master warning, plus ECAM message. The sets duplicate the cargo smoke warning to the cabin. Lights come on. The right answer is smoke lights comes on, plus continuous repetitive shine, CRC, plus master warning, plus ECAM message. Plus ECAM message. Okay. Next question. Each ABU fire detection loop is a single detector element, double detector element, triple detector element. For the ABU, each ABU fire detection loop is a single detector element. Single detector element. And during walk around, you need to observe this red disk on the ABU. If this red disk is missing, so that the fire bottle is discharged outside. There is an overpressure happening in the ABU fire bottle, and it is discharged overboard. Discharged overboard. Okay. Thank you for your good listening, and I hope this set of questionnaire help you to recall Airbus A320 fire protection system. This quiz was for my fellow pilots and aircraft maintenance people. Your host is Haytham Aly, and I'm an aviation technical instructor. Please stay tuned for an upcoming sessions like this to recall Airbus A320 aircraft systems. Thank you and goodbye.